What do these game menus all have in common? Well, we're going to find out. Alright everyone, before jumping into the rest of the video, I'm just going to go ahead and mention here that I created a Patreon, and I'll give you the Cliff Notes version uh, of the whys and the TLDR, I guess we could say. Um, all tiers offer the same thing, so if you want to help support more, great, if you can, of course. But the Cliff Notes version of why I'm doing this is, one, I need to increase finances going forward, and two, I cannot legally monetize this YouTube channel or really anything that involves Google in their ads. And three, some of the things that of course you guys will get is any polls or decisions that I put on here. Great. The usual special shoutouts either at the end of the video or somewhere in the video. That of course is just kind of standard across YouTube at this point. And I'll post the videos up here early once they're rendered and they're ready to go. If there's anything else that you guys would want to see up here, go ahead and let me know, and let's continue to the rest of the video. Alright, so what is it that these things all have in common? Well, all three of these, oops, I gotta click back in here. All three of these screens, or sorry, four, counting is hard, right? All four of these screens is, yes, they're all settings menus in this case, but they all look extremely different, but they're all the same thing. Now, if we were to narrow this down into using Godot terms here, all of these are tab containers. That's all they are. It's just tab containers. Now, these look extremely different, but they're all the same at the end of the day. We have our little tabs here at the top that we can click to get into each different section. In this case, this game, they just changed the color of the text. And then everything else, of course, is going to be in like your VBox. And down here, it looks like they have a scroll container. This game here, you can see it's a lot more obvious that they have tabs going on. And then, of course, your VBox underneath of it with everything inside. And in their case, just some buttons at the bottom and all that. We take a look at, see, did I miss one? Oh, yes, this one. Tabs at the top. The actual body of the container is empty, and everything is kind of shifted off to the side, which is a little interesting of a choice. And they have their selected tab is yellow, their non-selected is black or transparent, since they have a black bar in the back there. And that leaves us with Rainbow Six Siege here, which, again, we just have a difference in the text color. One's gray, one's a white. They have transparency in their tabs, transparency for their background, and then we just have a scroll container and a VBox here. So what are we talking about today? Why are we talking about these tab containers? Well, all of these are the same, but they look different. Yes. And the reason that they all look different, even though they're all the exact same thing, themes. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about some themes, or talk about themes. How can we create them to kind of mimic maybe some of these games that we are inspired by, or some of the games that we want our menus not to be kind of inspired off, based off of whatever, right? We were to look at it at its core. This is your tab container. Right, we have our container here. We have our tabs placed here at the top. It's on the left by default, but we could set it in the center, like we saw with one of those menus there. We could also have it set off to the right, or we could even set it going down the side instead of across the top. These are all options that you can do to help make yours look a little different initially, just before we even touch themes. And you can see here, we can have things off center, even if we have just our tabs kind of taking up one area of the screen, but the actual content can be displayed somewhere else. And if I go ahead and run this, you can see that. I forget which tab this is actually under or where it was moved from, but there we go. The position of it was being a little wonky. It flew way off screen for whatever reason, but there you go. You can see that we can have our content in here, and of course it's different based on which tab is selected. All right, easy, cool. Now, if you've never created a tab container before, then of course we can go ahead and zoom in on the scene tree here, and we just have this control just representing my main screen, or you can use it to represent your settings screen, whatever it is you're doing, doesn't matter. I'm just going to call this my main, so this will be my game main node in my case. Then we're going to have a tab container, and you can choose whether or not you want the tabs visible inside the inspector. And then each item that you stick in here, you're going to add a tab as a child to the tab container, and each one, whatever name that you give that tab in your scene hierarchy, is the name that's going to be shown in the actual tab. So if I go ahead and I rename this to gameplay settings, I hit enter, that is now the name of the tab. If we're to take a look at that now. Alright, so how can we make these look different? How can we use themes if you've never used them before? Well, a theme applies to the node that it's on, as well as all of its children. So if you wanted to have a specific theme to a specific menu or something, you could do that. However, I'm going to apply the theme to my main node because I would want the theme to apply to my entire game throughout the whole thing. So with my main node selected, I'm just going to click on theme in the inspector. The theme is empty. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to click new theme. Okay, now nothing looks like it happened, but if we click on that again, we'll get this theme editor down here at the bottom. And by default, this is what everything looks like on this theme. Now, this add preview button here is going to allow you to open up a scene, and you could preview that scene specifically to see how that would look. But at the moment, it has nothing in it. Nothing at all. No properties, no types. Now, if we were to click this plus button beside this type dropdown, you might look at it and you got this add new item. Okay, you can come down, you can add something one by one. Maybe it's part of it, maybe it's not. All right, scroll. Oh, look, tab container. Click that, add it. And now we have all of our images and settings and everything down here that we can start using. Alright, so if we started looking at, let's see, font selected. Which one is this one for? Font color, the currently selected tab. Okay, so if we were to go into here, click the plus on that so we can add that into our theme settings here inside of our inspector. Tab container, colors, font selected. And if we change that to a yellow, you'll see when we run this, now we have something that resembles more of that other project where it's white text and then yellow for the one that's selected. So we already have something similar. Of course, we still have these backgrounds from the tabs and that. But this is the essence of going through all this. Now, I don't like having to add one thing at a time, personally. So if I just go up here to manage items, and I'm just going to hit this trash can to delete this type. Personally, if I'm just going to make an overall theme for everything, then I'm honestly probably just going to hit select all. I'm probably going to take the data with it. And I'm probably just going to hit import selected here. Now that's the default theme, of course. You can come over here, and if you like the theme that you're using in your editor, you can of course select all of that, and this will take the theme of the Godot editor that you have already set up. Or with another theme, you could bring in theme files. So if someone else has a theme that you really like, you could bring that in, you could load that in. Alright, so I'm just going to use the default one here. And I'm going to set import selected. Give that a moment. And then you'll notice in the inspector for my theme, I'm going to have a lot of options now. Alright. So I'm just going to go ahead and open this up. And we can see all the different types here. Here's my tab container. And the colors, constants, font size, fonts, icons, styles, and all of that. And all we have to do is tweak these. Now, let's say we wanted a transparent background here. Well, we could take a look at the actual panel, which I assume is the background here. Right, and we could take a look. We can go like this. We can play with the colors and make tweaks, and we can see, okay, that is indeed the background. So if I want no background in my tab, like a lot of these games have, and for some reason my editor lags when it comes to doing themes, just in general, maybe it's because I have everything in here all at once. That's certainly possible, but we just go ahead and go like that, set the transparency all the way down, and just like that, we already have one that resembles closer to one of the themes that we were looking at. And of course, you can go ahead and round out the corners of your borders and things like that. Close that one. So we got tab disabled, tab focused, tab hovered. So we have all of these that we could take a look at as well. The tab bar background, so tab not disabled, unselected. Right, so we could take that, and let's say we wanted to go with a blue. So the unselected ones are blue. Maybe we don't want that. Maybe we want to go with fully transparent. Okay, there we go. Now we can have this distinct highlighted color, right? So we go tab selected, go to an option, maybe select a yellow. Transparency inks, maybe we want to go with a solid color. Increase brightness. Now, obviously with this, you're probably not going to go with that white color, but you're getting the idea, right? So we can completely customize the way these look, and you might see these lines in between, and maybe you don't like those. Well, that should be the tab bar background, I would assume, but cannot confirm with that. But I would assume that it's in there, or it's going to be one of these options that we have, which you can then go in and you can take a look at your icons. Now, if a tab is too small, a tab container is too small, I grab the tab container, there we go, and I shrink that. You see I can't hit the mid one, but if I have clip tabs turned on, which is the default, and we go like that, that's when you're going to see these icons here that it's referring to in our theme. So if I go back to my main node and we take a look, we can see here's our increment and decrement, both with and without the highlight. So if we wanted, you could just take any old image of yours, drop it in there, and now that is the button to go back in your tabs. I don't have anything there, so that's quite unfortunate. I'll just go ahead and clear that. But you can see, right? And then the menus here, you can set up, so you can go through all of these things and set up everything to be exactly the way you want them to be. Alright, so just to show you last here, label, I've made the font color red, and line edits, the font color is blue. So in my main node here, I'm going to go ahead and just add a child. And just to kind of speed that up, I'm going to close that. And I'll add a label down here, and we'll add a line edit. Bring that down. So this line edit, if I put some text in there, hello, this is my text. So we can see it's already blue by default because of the theme. So if we go into this label, as we're going to see, hello, this is my text. Red is kind of hard to see, but it's there. And that's going to apply to everything. So it applies to his children as well. And if this line edit were a child of this label, that theme is still going to apply. There we go. So that's still going to apply just how it is. Right? So theme applies to the node the theme file is attached to, and all of its children recursively through the tree. Alright, so if you ever wanted to have like a dark theme and a light theme, all you would do is change out that theme file. But alright, there you go. I hope that helps you understand themes a bit and how you can customize your projects to not be so samey looking. Alright, take care, and I'll see you guys in the next one.